Allisha Gray is having a word with someone in the crowd, and now security is also involved.
Well, looks like that fan is being
It happened in a split second. Allisha Gray of the Atlanta Dream turned her head toward the stands, pointed her finger at a section of Indiana Fever fans, and within moments, security was on the move. Two fans were suddenly surrounded, ushered out of their seats, and the cameras quickly cut away from the scene. To the thousands watching at Gainbridge Fieldhouse and the millions tuning in at home, it looked like something explosive had just gone down. A playoff game, national television, and an accusation that seemed too serious to ignore. It was a recipe for instant drama.
It's clear to us the WNBA does not appreciate fans, don't want us there. We have been thrown out of games for a multitude of ridiculous things. We have watched these players complain and trash us all. They called half of us racist. They've called all types of stuff. All types of stuff. Now, without Caitlin Clark, the viewership has been cut in half by 50%. 50% for the playoffs. For the playoffs, y'all. And they still are getting fans thrown out of games.
What made it even more striking was the timing. This wasn't some quiet preseason night or a meaningless mid-season clash. It was Game 2 of the WNBA playoffs, a do-or-die moment for the Fever, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. The scoreboard already painted a brutal picture for Atlanta, but Gray's gesture shifted the spotlight away from the action and onto the crowd. For a few tense minutes, the narrative of the night no longer revolved around who was hitting shots, grabbing rebounds, or dictating tempo. Instead, everyone was left wondering, what could possibly have been said to trigger this kind of response in the middle of such a critical game?
She got a fan kicked out last night against the Indiana Fever, only for the fan to speak their piece to the security. Security found out, oh, you didn't say anything at all, actually. Yeah, come back to your seat. Let me just wipe that seat off for you. Here, please, have a seat, ma'am. Allisha Gray played like absolute you-know-what last night and decided to take it out on a fan.
The clip of the moment spread across social media within minutes. Fans argued, speculated, and dissected body language frame by frame. Was this genuine disrespect from the crowd or a misunderstanding blown out of proportion? One thing was clear. This wasn't going to stay contained inside the arena. It was about to become one of those playoff side stories that would dominate headlines and stir debate well beyond the final buzzer.
This is nuts. By the way, security brought this couple back in and apologized to them. All right? They removed the couple because they do it to let the players calm down, because it's clear these players aren't professionals. Hey, that's what you owe us. You owe us at this point. Stop it. Stop it. So, she's now fully been exposed.
When the broadcast cut away, the confusion only deepened. No official explanation came from the court, no immediate statement clarified what had just happened, and into that vacuum rushed speculation. By the end of the night, social media feeds were clogged with clips, shaky replays, and endless threads. Some swore they heard a vulgar comment. Others insisted the fan was guilty of nothing more than harmless heckling. The truth was murky, and that fog made the story spread even faster.
And let's get this account of the situation. The guy in the black hat yelled to Lexi, who was running to guard Gray, and said, quote, "You're good, Lex. She's not even trying anymore." Gray lost her shit and said some very nasty words to the guy and the people next to him, because he said she's not even trying anymore. She can't handle that kind of heckling. Are you kidding me? Quit sports today.
The most viral version came from a supposed eyewitness who claimed the fan had simply shouted encouragement to Lexi Hull. "You're good, Lex. She's not even trying anymore." If that was accurate, it wasn't an insult. It was a motivational boost for Hull, with Gray only indirectly referenced. Suddenly, the narrative tilted. Was this really about inappropriate fan behavior, or was it frustration boiling over from a player having a rough night? The longer Atlanta stayed quiet, the louder these questions became.
The guy did not say anything out of line whatsoever. They were let back in shortly after. When asked what happened, he said that they said it was protocol to remove the fan to allow the player to calm down. I mean, all these players ought to be playing in bozo outfits. Gray had a bad night, and there is no excuse for the things she said or the way she acted.
Official reports labeled it an ejection. The fans were removed, plain and simple. But in the hours afterward, a different angle emerged. Maybe this was just protocol. Remove the fans temporarily, let emotions cool, and quietly allow them back later. That claim lit up comment sections, though no major outlet confirmed it. Still, the possibility raised an uncomfortable question. If nothing serious was said, why disrupt the playoff environment at all?
Allisha Gray getting this fan kicked out, and of course, the internet went ablaze. Oh my God, those Indiana Fever fans! Blah, 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 blah. Of course, after the fake hoax of early this year with Angel Reese, Angel Smollett, some people are calling her. The fake race hoax, people were saying, oh my gosh, those Indiana Fever fans. What could they have possibly said? And the rumor mill starts going, and the rumor mill starts going, and the rumor mill starts going.
The lack of consistency mattered. In professional sports, transparency is critical. When a fan crosses the line, details usually surface fast. When those details never arrive, suspicion lingers. Was Atlanta trying to shift attention away from the scoreboard? Was this about optics more than safety? By Monday morning, what should have been a footnote had become one of the most discussed storylines of the WNBA postseason.
WNBA players, you guys are not ready for the big lights. You're not ready for the big lights. You're not ready. I could look you in your eyes and see you're not ready. Y'all can't handle people showing up to games. Y'all can't handle people actually being an interested, invested fan.
But here's the irony. While everyone argued about the seats, the Indiana Fever owned the court. Holding the Dream to just 60 points, Indiana delivered a defensive masterpiece. Rotations were sharper, box outs stronger, and every possession carried urgency. This wasn't about highlight dunks or flashy threes. It was about discipline. The Dream's offense, usually dangerous, looked rattled and unprepared for the intensity.
If there's anything I know, there's nothing like playoff basketball in Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
We come to you from Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, the first home playoff game for the Fever since 2016. Need to win this to force a decisive game 3.
The timing couldn't have been better for Indiana. It was their first home playoff game since 2016, and the first postseason win since 2015. Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted like a city shaking off years of frustration. Every hustle play sent fans to their feet. Every defensive stop sounded like a knockout punch. While the controversy swirled online, the Fever were quietly rewriting their own history inside the building.
Fever, go! Bow, bow, bow! Let's go! Fever! Go, Fever!
Let's go, Fever! Fever in 3!
Let's go! Play out, baby! This is the reason! This is our season! Return up time! Indiana Fever! That time we on the map! Let's go!
Playoff games often pivot on one sequence, and in Game 2, that moment arrived late in the third quarter. With the lead still vulnerable, Aaliyah Boston muscled in a post score that steadied the Fever. Seconds later, a steal flipped the momentum, and suddenly, the ball found Lexi Hull at the buzzer. Her deep three splashed through, the arena detonated, and Atlanta's body language slumped.
There's a certain desperation that has to come with how you play every possession. I didn't feel like in Game 1 we played with that desperate mentality that we needed, particularly when you look at 50-50 balls, when you look at how many times, we didn't get inside the three-point line for a defensive rebound and the ball hit the floor and they were able to get it. There's got to be a desperation that you play with and a sense of urgency that you play with at all times. We didn't have that consistently for 40 minutes in game one. I expect us to have it here tonight.
What could have been a tight, nerve-wracking fourth quarter instead became a coronation. That single possession, a score, a turnover, and a dagger shot turned the building into a frenzy and slammed the door on Atlanta's hopes. In those 20 seconds, the balance of the series shifted. Not just because of points on the board, but because of the energy they unleashed.
Boston backing down Jones, post moves, banks it in, bow, bow, bow. Underway, it's 2-0 Fever through the first 20 seconds.
Bree Jones, so crafty around the bucket, good footwork, little fadeaway there.
First bucket for Kelsey Mitchell, who's having a spectacular season.
Powers muscling it up, good, and one. There's the energy off the bench from Aerial Powers as she flexes.
The Fever's victory wasn't carried by one star. It was carved out by many. Kelsey Mitchell was electric, punishing every defensive lapse with threes and slashing drives. Every time Atlanta sagged, she made them pay from deep. Every time they pressed, her first step left them in the dust.
Atlanta is very reactive on defense right now. They are not dictating the way that we saw them in game one, and credit the Fever for their level of aggressiveness.
Mitchell whips a pass, left block, Turner, extra, Tosh puts it in. Mitchell from the logo, pulls, top of the arc three, got it.
Beside her, Boston anchored both ends, adding 15 steady points and critical rebounds. Natasha Howard became the glue, altering shots and keeping Atlanta from easy second chances. Hull brought relentless defense to match her shooting, diving after loose balls and smothering Gray all night. And don't forget Aerial Powers, who added veteran strength off the bench. It wasn't one spark. It was a bonfire of contributions that lit up Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Side, Boston going to work, scores off the backboard. 8 seconds left in the third. Fever by a dozen. Dallas steal in the backcourt. Mitchell in the corner, guarded by Gray. 4 seconds to go. Boston to Hull, left wing, fires a three. Good! Hull hits with 0.3 to go in the third. Woo! Atlanta inbounds. That's it for the period. And the Fever are fired up. 59-44 with 10 minutes to play.
The blowout didn't just win Indiana a game, it gave them the blueprint. Shut down Gray and Ryan Howard, own the paint, and trust their depth. Heading into Game 3, the psychological battle loomed large. Indiana had proven they could win without Caitlin Clark. Atlanta, meanwhile, faced the sting of being embarrassed on the road and needed their home crowd to restore confidence.
And they have allowed her in their half-court sets so far to just take open drive to the rim. There's the three.
I think, and fans didn't appreciate how good Kelsey Mitchell is, and they're certainly getting an eyeful this year. Here she goes. She started by Teddy, takes it right to the basket and misses. It's a hit for Mitchell.
The stakes couldn't have been higher. Game 3 wasn't just another playoff matchup, it was survival. One team would move on, the other would be sent home to wonder what went wrong. Could the Fever bottle up that desperation again in hostile territory? Could the Dream shake off the narrative of distraction and show they were still contenders?
Stephanie White wants to see her go downhill, be more aggressive offensively. This is a great matchup. Boston against Jones.
Just a fun matchup between two big posts with size, with good anything.
Boston up, under, and in.
Game 3 in Atlanta delivered the drama everyone expected. In a nail-biting finish, Indiana stunned the Dream 87-85 on the road. Caitlin Clark, sidelined by injury, stood cheering on the bench, clapping through the boos, a reminder that presence can matter as much as performance. The Fever didn't just survive, they proved resilience travels.
Both teams around that 40% mark. They didn't hit that in game one, and that's a good way to go for Natasha Howard. Gray goes down. What is she? Good patience by Howard. Mitchell bounce pass. Natasha Howard, and it rolls in.
Howard has had great activity tonight.
The storyline that began with a courtside controversy ended with a scoreboard statement. Indiana's defense held firm, their role players stepped up again, and the Dream were left chasing shadows. For the Fever, this wasn't just a playoff victory. It was validation. Validation that they weren't a one-player show. Validation that they could win under pressure. And validation that the rebuild was further along than anyone thought.
Hull got a size advantage on Jordan Canada, so she can use her length, even though Jordan Canada has the advantage in quickness.
Terrific cut by Hull and a good find.
Good shot there by Pow Pow. You never think it's the youngest player on the team that gets you settled in on offense.
But they're not getting the stops you asked about.
In the end, the so-called controversy around Allisha Gray may fade from memory, but Indiana's playoff breakthrough will not. A first postseason win in nearly a decade, resilience without their star, and a group of players who proved they could rise together, that's the real story fans will carry forward. The Fever didn't just silence doubters, they silenced the Dream. And now, it's your turn to keep this conversation alive. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next deep dive into women's basketball drama and history. Like this video, if you think Indiana deserves more credit, and drop a comment letting us know, do you think this team has what it takes to go even deeper in the playoffs? For even more exclusive updates, analysis, and stories you won't see anywhere else, join our free newsletter at basketplay.online. When you sign up, you'll also get a free downloadable guide covering the latest trends, stats, and insights in women's basketball. It's our way of helping true fans stay ahead of the curve. Don't miss out. Subscribe here, join the newsletter, and let's keep building this community together.